Well, if this makes me a bad person, then so be it. I am very happy because today I just found out that Carolyn Bryant died in April at the ripe old age of 88. Now, for those of you who don't know who Carolyn Bryant is, let me explain. In August 1955, Emmett Till was visiting relatives down in Mississippi. He was getting groceries for his relatives when he saw the 21-year-old at the time, Carolyn Bryant. He whistled to her. She later called the cops and told her husband and brother-in-law that she later called the cops and said that he had made advances on her, but told her husband and brother-in-law what really happened. They then snuck into his room, Emmett Till's room, abducted him, kidnapped him, and lynched him. They killed him for no reason. Emmett's mother, Mamie Till Mobley, was devastated when she found out what happened to her baby. When Emmett's funeral had begun, during the plans for his funeral, Mamie decided that her son would lay in an open casket. When asked if he could spruce him up or glamour him a little bit, the mortician, she basically said the world has to see for themselves. Later, in an interview many years later, Mamie would say, these are her own words, "I wanted the world to see what they did to my baby." She was in the courtroom when Carolyn Bryant's husband and brother-in-law were tried for murder. And she testified. They ended up getting acquitted or found not guilty. And you know it's unfair because the jurors, they were all white men. Okay? Carolyn Bryant's marriage to her first husband, Mr. Bryant, the man who helped kill Emmett Till, ended in his death. The two murderers later confessed to a magazine many years later that they were the ones who took Emmett Till's life. And even then, they faced no repercussions for their actions. After the death of her husband and brother-in-law, she remarried, and her second husband died as well. For these past few years, she's been living in hospice care, and she even wrote a book. She's died in April, and she wasn't in an orange federal jumpsuit when she died. That's what's really wrong. When she died, she should have been in jail for filing a false police report, illegal, and murder by proxy. She wrote an unpublished memoir and later claimed that she had no idea what was going to happen to Emmett Till. Like, I don't believe that. This is Mississippi. It's 1955. Segregation is still going strong. Black people are getting lynched basically every other day. And you say you had no idea what your husband and brother-in-law were going to do to a 14-year-old black boy. Okay. Even the dumbest person on earth could have told you that they were going to kill him. And you know what? They did. Surprise, surprise. Well, if this makes me a terrible person, so be it. I am glad Carolyn Bryant is dead. She is now rotting in hell, burning in hell. Now she has to face the music and face God. She was not tried in a court of law, and she was not tried in a court of public opinion. She should have never been allowed to roam these streets the rest of her life while feeling safe. There should not have been a corner in this entire world where she could have hid and not be blamed and living in constant fear for what she did to Emmett Till. And you know what? Up until her dying day, she was free. She got a young boy, a 14-year-old boy, killed for no reason. Anne filed a false police report, and she's able to live. She's able to not spend the rest of her life in a cell. And her husband and brother-in-law were also got the same fate. If I were on that jury, I would have convicted her and her husband and her brother-in-law just like that. But now, alas, Carolyn Bryant's judgment day has come, and she must face the music. She must face God for what she did. And you know what? Right now, as we speak, or as I speak, as I speak, she is burning in hell. You do not get to get a 14-year-old boy killed and not burn in hell when your time comes, when God calls you home. When we die, God goes through everything we did and decides whether you belong in heaven, belong in purgatory, which is the state between heaven and hell, or belong in hell. I think it's very clear where Carolyn Bryant is. She's in hell, rotting with her first husband and brother-in-law. What she did was awful, it was horrible, it was brutal, it was repulsive, and it never should have been done. And she didn't even give public interviews for most of her life afterwards, so we never knew if she felt even the tiniest bit of remorse. But probably like her husband and brother-in-law, she didn't. She was a racist white woman. I am glad she is burning in hell. She's getting what was coming to her for 88 years. Honestly, if That would have happened to me if I were in Emmett Till's situation. I would have seen my parents, my grandparents, my whole family fighting for those two men to be put in jail, and the person who got me killed to be put in jail as well. But that didn't happen to Emmett Till. That didn't happen to the Bryant boys, and it certainly didn't happen to Carolyn Bryant. Now they're rotting in hell. And once again, death has done a great service to the world by getting rid of all three. And you know what? They're burning in hell. She's getting tortured by Satan right now. If I could see that happen, I would be applauding her, cheering. I would be applauding Satan, cheering him on. I'd be helping him in torturing the old racist. Okay? Well, anyways, my Carolyn Bryant rant is done. Bye, y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.